So obviously I have an agenda. Like, I'm a yogi. I practice and I teach, and I think that everybody should be doing yoga. And I say should, but I would like to add the caveat that it doesn't feel good when we think we should be doing something and we kind of coerce ourselves into it. And similarly, if someone else thinks we should be doing something and we do it because of that, or we don't do it and we feel guilty, that's not where it's at. So I say should, with a big grain of salt. We should do something if that's what feels like it's right for us. But I think that there's a yoga practice for anybody who wants it. There's a million different styles, and there's really something for everybody out there. So with that in mind, I'd like to go through some reasons why you should do yoga. So if you want the ability to increase, if you want to be able to increase your ability to shift perspective, I know that my experience has taught me so much about shifting perspective. We think that we're in a certain set of circumstances, and that is simply how it is, and there's nothing to be done. But I found that with consistent practice, I've been able to zoom out a lot, and see that there's a lot more going on than sometimes I think, especially when I'm in a negative state of mind, that we can shift our perspective, and yoga can help tremendously with that. If we want to sensitize ourselves to our bodies and get a sense of, like, oh shoot, like, what do I do with these really tight hips that I am sitting or driving or, sitting at work and kind of neglecting for the majority of the day? If I want to know how to take care of them, yoga is an amazing way to do that for any part of the body. And a little more subtly, when we practice yoga, we can get a lot more in tune with our own sense of either relaxation or stress, so that instead of kind of moving around in a really fast pace all the time, like our world wants us to do, we are able to notice when the body starts to give us warning signs that it is stressed out. So practicing yoga, we're really spending time in the body, and it gives us an opportunity to get a little more in tune. And obviously we get stronger, and we gain more balance, and we gain more flexibility. And I am by no means old. I'm only 30 right now, but my body has changed tremendously in the last few years, and it's gonna keep doing that. And I know that this practice is going to keep me safe, keep my body in balance for much longer than if I kind of just crossed my fingers and wasn't taking care in this particular way. So yeah, we should do yoga to help our bodies. We should do yoga, could do yoga to help our sense of focus. And one of the big aspects of yoga is meditation. Different people have different understandings of what yoga is, but a lot of the yoga that I practice is meditation, and it helps with focus, and it helps actually with self-compassion too. So when we are more compassionate towards ourselves, we can be more compassionate towards other people. And the amount of emotion regulation I've found in conjunction with doing this, practicing yoga, is really noteworthy. So we should do yoga if we want a better sense of how to navigate our emotions. Similarly, if we want to just get to know ourselves better in a broader sense, if we want to know if we want to get a really good sense of what our habits are, say if we're disappointed, or if we are excited, or if we are angry, get on the mat. And the mat is like a little microcosm of the world, and all of those emotions will come up when we're challenged or when we feel success, when we feel successful, and we get more familiar with our habits, and we can kind of pump up the ones that we like, and we can notice the ones that maybe aren't so helpful. Like when we judge ourselves for not being able to do that pose like that person. Like, who cares? But we do. I do. I catch myself in that once in a while still, like self-judgment for whatever reason on the mat. And when we are practicing, we don't have the distractions of everyday life, so we can kind of observe and we can note it. And once we start observing, we don't really have a choice. It's like once the observation has been made and noted, we're going to start to change. We're going to start to transform. And that's really why we should do yoga, is because we are meant to transform in these lives, in these human bodies. We are not meant to stay the same, and we are meant to live the most extraordinary lives that we can. So there are a lot of different yoga practices that can help us tap into that sense of transformation. And I think they're really worth exploring or continuing to explore if you're already tapped into that.